After a 1-week hiatus, Yellowjackets is back with the 6th episode in Season 2. Following on from an eventful episode 5 where we saw Nat take a deeper look into her past along with the police closing in on Shauna over the disappearance of Adam, this episode ultimately saw it building up to the arrival of the group at Lottie's compound. But within the past, we saw the focus being put upon Shauna and the birth of her child that was set to change everything. So with that, let's recap, break down, and explain all that there was to take away from this episode. So let's get into it. Here is Yellowjackets Season 2 Episode 6, Ending Explained. Just to let you know, this video will contain spoilers. As we embarked onto the ending of the episode with the storyline in the past, we saw that a large focus was being put upon Shauna and the fact that she was having her baby. We were led to believe that she managed to have the baby successfully, but it was only right at the end where we found out that everything that we witnessed unfold in the past occurred in a passed out state. From the moment that it went black when Shauna was in the process of giving birth, she didn't wake up until the end of the episode. It was all inside of her head, meaning that the baby never actually survived. We've seen how deceiving the wilderness can be, and with Lottie, Travis, Nat, Van, and the others giving up offerings in order for the baby to survive, it didn't end up working. There was a sense of disappointment that was present on Lottie's face specifically when Shauna woke up and found out that the baby hadn't survived. So I do wonder if she'll end up questioning why he didn't, and why the powers didn't assist. With Lottie whispering things to the baby whilst inside of Shauna, saying how it was going to change everything, and then even in the dream saying things like, "we need to feed," there was such importance put upon the unborn child. So she may start to question what was going on inside of her head, and the fact that it didn't turn out to be as she envisioned. There was a moment in Shauna's dream where she woke up and her baby was gone, and as she walked into the communal area, all of the Yellowjackets were gathered around and they had blood all over their faces. I think this was something that tied back into what they did to Jackie in episode 2 of the show, and the guilt that Shauna still felt being present inside of her mind over what she did to her best friend. But now it was being projected onto somebody else that she cared about. This could well be like the visions that we've seen Lottie have, but instead this time it took over Shauna's mind, showing that she could be of great importance when it comes to the Antler Queen. It all felt real to Shauna, which was something that definitely seemed traumatic to look at. So I feel this could be the catalyst to a downward spiral and the start of a decline in the character. When it came to the modern day, we saw that the entire group had ended up going to Lottie's compound upstate. With all of them arriving, we saw them embrace, but what was interesting was the fact that Lottie was over in the distance, and as she walked over, the ever-present symbol that has become synonymous with the Yellowjackets was present on the ground as it cut to the aerial shot, showing that what Lottie said about the darkness and the power of the wilderness being back with her was something that she was almost summoning. All of the Yellowjackets believed that Lottie was in a state where she wasn't even able to communicate with anybody, so to find out that she was leading an entire compound was something that left them all in shock, and that was best summed up by the look on Van's face. I think it's safe to say that although she wasn't planning on sticking around, she most likely will be now. They each have their issues in the present day, and it does certainly feel as though it's all led them to be together at the compound, ready to be with one another and face the darkness that's present within them 25 years after it first entered them. Let's break the rest of the video down by the other characters. Misty. In the past, Misty was an individual that was most definitely feeling the guilt and burden over what she did to Crystal, so much so that the blood on her hands from Shauna giving birth was enough to trigger her mind and make her lose touch with reality. We saw that she was given the task of handling the birth due to her being the only person that was interested in class back when they were at school. Lottie speaking with her and telling her that she could save their baby was something that caused Misty to touch back in with reality and be able to find a way to snap out of it, ultimately leading her to take the reign again. Within the present day, we saw that she was in the compound now as a fully fledged member, and she was there with the sole intention of saving Natalie from Lottie and the cult. However, Natalie was refusing to leave, so it was Misty who was essentially the reason that everybody ended up there right at the end due to her making the call to tie. Misty didn't have too much of a large involvement in terms of her individual plot, other than the fact that it does seem as though her and Walter are going to be together at some point. With all of the talk about her never having a breakup and not being with anybody, but the person bringing up Walter in the text messages, it makes me think that there's definitely going to be something there. Shauna. In the present day, we saw that Shauna was called into the police station for questioning over the disappearance of Adam due to her staged affair with Randy being debunked by the police. For the first time, she admitted that she did actually have an affair with Adam. She also mentioned that she never really wanted Callie as a kid, and she only ever did it to save a failing marriage, which I thought was particularly interesting to say and heartbreaking for Callie. With Shauna admitting that she had an affair with Adam, it definitely draws her connection closer to him, and she'll most likely remain as a prime suspect in his disappearance. So if anything, things are probably going to get a lot worse for her. Lottie. Lottie believes that the darkness has returned from the wilderness, or at least it was lying dormant within all of them and it's now ready to come out and cause a lot of trouble for them again. She went to see her psychologist on short notice, which showed us that she's definitely struggling with everything that's been going on. She believes that the power of the wilderness sent the rest of the group to her in the present day, so I believe we're going to see her end up in a state like we saw her in at the start of season 2 when she was rescued, being taken away and in a position where she's considered crazy. But before that, I feel she's going to be leaning into it a lot more and having some more of those extremely haunting visions. Nat. Following Nat originally wanting to escape from the compound, we've seen her now settle into it and feel as though it's the best place for her. After having the visions in episode 5 of the show and seeing what she said to Travis, she now feels responsible for his death because she almost planted the darkness inside of his mind. She was extremely absent from a mental standpoint in this episode, and you could really tell that she had a lot of heaviness weighing down on it, and that was the weight of Travis and the grief that she felt. With her giving in and putting on the purple garments, I think it showed us that she was fully in the mindset of being part of the cult. I do think though that with the rest of the group arriving, she will start to morph back into her true self. Ty and Van. Ty and Van's involvement wasn't that important in this episode really. I feel it was more about just making them present and giving them a way of arriving at the compound at the end. We know that Ty is deeply connected to Lottie in terms of the symbol and the visions, so I feel we'll see more of a focus in the next episode, especially as Lottie starts to spiral out of control. Overall review. I thought that this episode was a good one. It landed with impact, which I think is needed following a hiatus, even if it is only a week. The younger version of Shauna stole this episode for me as I thought her performance was chilling and heartbreaking to watch. The episode finished off with 2 really landmark moments. The baby not surviving and all of the group being reunited for the first time in 25 years. So it's going to be interesting to see where it goes from there. So, there you have it. Yellowjackets Season 2 Episode 6 Ending Explained. If you want to see more videos such as Endings Explained, theories and predictions and character breakdowns, then click on the I button, or alternatively you can head over to my channel where you'll find them all. If you'd like to give me a show or movie that you'd like me to review, then head over to my Twitter, @brainpilot_, and tweet me what show or movie you'd like me to review next. And finally, if you'd like to see what I rate the latest movies that don't quite make the cut to getting a dedicated video, then head over to my Letterboxd profile. It's where I rate the latest releases in real time. What did you think of this episode? Leave a comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time.